got you covered. This is News 4 Tucson.
It is rivalry week, at least here on our set, Wildcat Preview. I'm David Kelly, USC broadcast class of 1990, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, I'm 7 steak dinners up on you, 8-1 since we started doing this back in 2010, and the Wildcats on their way to play the Trojans today in Los Angeles. And I want to start with the fact that one of the things that U of A has talked about all season long, and going back to the beginning of the season, that they trumpeted was that the last 2 years, this was the best running team in the Pac-12 conference, the Arizona Wildcats. You know where they are right now? They're 11th.
Yeah.
They're 11th out of 12 teams in running the football. I think that's where it has to start, Glenn. It has to start with this offense getting back to running the football, and I think it starts with the quarterback getting back to doing what he does best, and that's running the football.
Well, Dave, we talked to this for this our what, 8th week, 7th week? We've been talking every week saying we got to run the football. This is the most crucial time to run the football against USC. And USC is, I think, pretty vulnerable of getting that. USC's got a couple of DBs down, and I just hope we don't take that bait of saying, okay, they got those 3 DBs down, we're going to start throwing the ball. We got to go back to what we are and who we are, and that's running the football.
Yeah, no Greg Johnson for USC. Isaac Taylor-Stewart is said to maybe not going to be playing in this ball game today. Great young talent. And we don't know, though, on the other side. We know the USC injuries because they talk about that stuff. We don't know U of A's injuries. We don't know what's going on with Bam Smith and Gary Brightwell. But like we said, it was great to see J.J. Taylor back last week, but you need more than J.J. Taylor. And that's where I think if Khalil Tate can run the football, he can at least try to put some pressure on this USC defense on Saturday.
Yeah, Khalil has to have, I don't know what Khalil we're going to get, but Khalil has to have, well, we don't know what we're going to get. So we have to get the one from Colorado would be nice. He's got to be able to make his reads, throw the ball accurately, throw in small windows, because those windows against SC are going to be really small. So we have to get those guys in a back pedal, get them off the line of scrimmage, get our receivers open, and then if you run the football, then they're going to be a little bit spying inside, and that could be an opening for our passing game.
Well, one of the things we liked about what he did in Colorado was his ability to read the field and make his progressions. And then in the second half, in the pocket. In the second half against Washington, I liked that they went back to just giving him more one-read throws. Is that what we just maybe need to do with him at this point, is not give him too much to think about? Let him have the one-read throw that he can get going, get that ball out quickly to a receiver versus, asking him to go back there and go through progressions?
He's got to go through the progressions. If we go to one read, then everybody's going to know what read it is, because they're going to look at his eyes. So we have to be able to, Khalil's got to get better, and hopefully he looked at the film and evaluated. And if things don't happen, then we might have to bring in the young guy.
Yeah, when you talk about the young guy, and I want to talk about both young guys, because you've got Grant Cannell, a true freshman quarterback on the U of A side, and Keaton Slovis, a true freshman quarterback on the USC side. And I'm going to go back to something that I wrote an article a few weeks ago about U of A and their recruiting in state. And I know that there's a lot of teams that missed on Keaton Slovis. He was only offered by USC and Oregon State in the Pac-12. But Glenn, can you not have at least offered that kid? He was one of the top 15 prospects here in Arizona. I know they had a freshman quarterback coming in Grant Cannell, but how do you not at least offer a kid like Keaton Slovis? That's where I think U of A sometimes misses on opportunities here in Arizona.
Well,
especially a kid that was playing under Kurt Warner. Yeah. I think I would go and offer every kid at Desert Mountain that's playing under Kurt Warner.
Well, Dave, I'm getting really comfortable with their evaluation process. You look at all the players that have came in that these guys have done Kevin Sumlin's evaluation process of all these freshmen. We got freshmen that are playing. We got a guy that's going to be sitting down this year, Morgan, who's going to be, I think is going to be an excellent offensive lineman. Is going to be a starter for 4 years. So I really value their evaluation process. So if they missed that guy, because they evaluated that they didn't want to offer him, and I trust that.
All right, well, it's interesting. I'm going to tell you what I like about Kedon Slovis. I like the way he moves in the pocket, man. I love his footwork. I mean, this is a guy that is active with his feet. He can get out of the pocket, but in the same mold, stay in the pocket, just move himself around to be able to make throws. I think just looking at what I've seen on tape of him and what I've seen on tape of Grant Cannell, I like Kedon Slovis' footwork better right now than I like Grant Cannell's.
Well, I think Cannell's going to be a great quarterback for us. And Slovis, we're going to see how that's one game, okay? We got a couple games from Grant, and Grant's done pretty well in those games. And then we're going to see who's going to pan out here. Because when other guys come in from USC and everything, and see if he retains that job. And Grant's going to do a great job when he comes in, and I have confidence that he will.
Yeah, and one of the things we're seeing defensively when you talk about trying to slow down Kedon Slovis, we've seen a little bit more of Jarius Wallace on the field in that deep safety spot. I think that gives Arizona a little bit more speed in their coverage to have him out there, and that's a guy you're going to need to lean on when you've got three outstanding receivers like what USC brings to the table.
Well, this game we're going to have to get Mr. Clovis off his spot because their receivers are excellent at SC. They don't need a big window. He's just going to throw 50-50 balls up to these guys, and we're got to be ready for that. Guys got to be able to turn their heads. When they see the hands go up, it's going to be technique today. On Saturday, is because when that guy's hands goes up, you're going to have to turn your head because they're going to throw a lot of 50-50 balls to these guys.
Well, that's what I thought last week when you evaluated the U of A defense. They gave up 51 points, which is not a good look. Yeah. But I thought they played well in that second half. I just thought that Eason beat them on a lot of those throws. I mean, you look at that first throw, the first half, the one on the left sideline. I mean, Lorenzo Burns was all over the guy. He just put that ball in there to their true freshman wide receiver. And then later in the fourth quarter, he had a throw on the left side of the field where they beat Christian Roland Wallace, but he was all over that receiver. So I thought the coverage was very good. There were some instances I thought Jace was maybe a little bit off on some of that deep post. He maybe was a little bit off on coverage. There was the tight slant there at the goal line that he gave him a little bit too much room. But other than that, I thought the coverage was pretty good in the game against Washington.
Dave, our DBs have been playing much better. They're playing much better, and I think that's what the coaches did. The coaches said, we're going to roll the dice, and we're going to say, beat us. And Eason beat us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you do that against Kedon Slovis, he is a guy that he can throw the deep ball. That's one of his strengths, Glenn.
But can he throw it in the window? Because we got some ball hawks out on our team. We got a lot of interceptions. So I think that we're going to be able to get some pressure on him, and then let's see if he can throw it in the window.
Well, and I think you got to do more than move him off the spot. I think you need to sack Kedon Slovis. That's what Notre Dame was able to do. That's what BYU was able to do. They were able to get to him, and that's what Arizona has not been able to do, get the sack. They need to start to get more sacks.
And then we'll find the pressure. We're going to get the pressure. I think our D-line is playing low. Mason's playing a little bit better, and we're going to have our best game this week. This game is a winnable game. Is if we don't make mistakes, no penalties, and we have to get big plays. We have to be a great decision maker at the quarterback position.
All right, Arizona and USC. I'll see if I get another steak dinner. We'll be back to break it down for you on Monday morning.